Morning everybody, back to Sunday Q&A on a Sunday where it's supposed to be. Yeah, I didn't go mad this weekend. It was a wife's birthday on Friday, so I had a good job actually. I had to pick up 6,000 jumpers from my old days of a market trader and cleared out a factory. I had to drop some joinery on Brighton on Friday morning and then from Worthing back to base. That was a heavy van. Won't do that again. But I cleared out a factory and I sold them to a friend of mine and it turned out to be good. So then I've had the weekend off. We had been with the family on Friday night and put around today Sunday. Anyway, enough about my life, let's talk about yours. Van security is the main thing this week. Paddy McGear says he recommends the Auto Watch Ghost Immobiliser. It's supposed to be very good. I haven't got a clue what it is, but there you go. And also he did make out the point, probably lucky I didn't knock the van. You're right, you can do more damage. It's a pain, I've had it before where you come back and if they want to get in, they'll get in. They've smashed the window. So, oh great, so now they've nicked it. Or they've got a crowbar and they've bent the door out to try to get in. And then they've done more damage to the van, to the door, to the, to the cab and all that, than they would have done if you'd just left it open and they'd have nicked the phone and buggered off. But that's not an excuse, is it really? That's not what we want to do here. Basically, you want to find ways to stop them getting the van. John Massing says, go to YouTube for changing the pump to a dud fuel for dud fuels on the fuel pump or something like that. I think there's probably lots of things on YouTube that you can type in that will show. YouTube's wonderful. I'm on YouTube. But other than that, YouTube's wonderful. And yeah, there's lots of things you can probably look at about security. But there's other things. I mean, the dud fuse thing is one. RK says, don't put a GB sticker on the back because it makes them think that you're a tradesman with like tools in the back of your van, so you become a target. But he also says about the secret switch to a fuel pump or a mobiliser. Now, I've had these, and also he thinks some deadlocks make them think twice. Now, this kind of reminded me, I've had a couple in the day. I've had a switch that they've fitted underneath this one I used to have the truck. I had a switch fitted underneath the dashboard. And basically it just cuts all the power to the fuel pump or something like that, I think it does. And so you'd go in there and you'd just flick the switch and you'd have to know it just wouldn't start without it. I've also had with the truck, we had like an immobiliser key and they ran this great big plastic thing and it runs from the battery to the van and it was a red key with a little, and you just put the key in and turn it and that would make the connection and then suddenly the truck would work. Only problem with that can be that you lose all your radio presets. It used to be back in the day, I don't know if it is anymore, but there's lots of things you can do. And on top of, the immobiliser switch is a good one to have if you put it in a little place where no one's going to see it, maybe at the dashboard or somewhere where it is and it won't work. If you've got a mechanic who's kind of semi-proficient, it probably won't cost you a fortune. That could be a good way forward too. So anyway, there we go on van security. What else we got? Some general questions. Liam and Harris and John Bretney said, can I explain the CX costs? The truth of the matter is they vary. I mean, one guy turned around and he said he just got $750 for 13 months. Is that good? I would say that's very good, I think. Sometimes if you buy 12 months, they'll give you the 13 month for free. Sometimes they're having deals. I think you've got to pay a minimum of 6 months up front. But the best thing to do is to ring them. And to ring them, you just talk to them. Or you can do that bit where I say about joining the CX and click. If you click the link, register your interest. If you do join, I can get a drink out of it. Or just ring them. Ring Will, ring anybody who's there. They're more than happy to help. Ask them through. Have you got any deals on at the moment? They'll say yes or no. And you can choose. But yeah, the costs tend to vary. I think it's kind of around about 600 quid for the first 6 months. Or it might be like 900 if you join for the year, I think. I'm not sure. You'd have to ring them, talk to them. You've got the numbers on the video. And that's for the owner driver. And that's the one you need. And that'll get you the app on your phone, which will get you the load alerts. And then you can just get in the van and you can start running. And that's how I started. After that, you can go into Enterprise, which means I think you can run up to 10 vans. That's slightly dearer. And then you get Enterprise Plus, which is what we're on, which means you can run up to 50 vans. And that's dearer again. Again, the prices, I'm not quite sure. I think I can't remember what we paid. We paid a little while back and hopefully soon we'll go on a monthly, but you can do that after a while. The thing I don't know is the truth of the matter is I started a while ago. It was cheap when I joined and then slowly but surely it's evolved. But I think to start up it's about £600, including the VAT for the first 6 months. But they do deals, so ring them and talk to them. Yeah, quoting. Oh, right, there we go. Yeah, a couple out. By the way, Ian the Shipper, thanks very much for your comment about, percentages of running people on the CX. The truth of the matter is, running people on the CX, would you say, if you want to run someone and charge a percentage, it's kind of like buying wholesale and then trying to sell wholesale. You really need end users. If you can get end users, you can make them. You've got the margin that you need to run your guys. So yeah, okay, I agree with. He agreed with me on that one, which is nice because he's the oracle and I'm just new idiot spouting nonsense. What else we got? Quoting on getting jobs. Yeah, a couple of guys. Guy phoned me during the week and someone else left a message and he says they've been quoting not getting jobs too cheaply. The problem is different people pay different rates and it also depends on how close you are, and it gets tricky because you start to get spirited. You bid on a few jobs and they go, I'll let you know if you're successful, and they don't ring. And then so like on the 5th one you think I'm going to go cheap to get it, and the guy goes, I'll send it over to you now, and you think could have got more on that. What I would recommend if you're new to it, maybe start bidding a bit cheaper, 50p on a small van, maybe 90p on a Luton or on an extra long wheelbase, but don't do it forever. Because you can't run on these fees forever. You won't make any money. You eventually you're going to need to pay for the van. The prices are 65p for a small van, a pound for an extra long wheelbase, 110 for a Luton, £60, £70 minimum for a Luton job are about right. That's kind of what you need to be doing if you want to keep going. But sometimes when it starts, you just want to get out. So maybe bid a bit cheaper just for the first few jobs, just so that you don't sit there getting dispirited. So they send the jobs through, give you an idea of how it's working, get yourself running, and then slowly but surely clock your prices up. You'll find a place, I just don't want anyone to get dispirited just sitting there going, oh, I'm not getting any work. So maybe bid a bit cheaper in the beginning, but only in the beginning, because if you keep bidding those kind of prices, eventually you ain't gonna make no money. There's a charge you kind of need to do, to cover your wear and tear, to cover your fuel, to cover your tax, to cover your bills at home. They're not, and the shippers know that. It's about right, I think. But good luck, guys. Anyway, Mark Lachlan, he rang me. Yeah, he said it's a weird one. He picked up twice and the shipper was unhappy. He picked up early twice and the shipper was unhappy. And I went, I've never heard that before. Surely, it's like, well, if you get there early and you get it, as long as they're happy, so it's ready to go, and you get to your delivery point early. A parcel has never turned up for me at home and gone, oh no, I was hoping, I was expecting this on Friday, it's come on Tuesday, I'm gutted. I said, also, if you pick up early, you're going to be, if you had a puncher, you're still going to be there on time. If there's traffic, so the lorry falls over, you're still going to be there on time, because you picked up early. The only thing he did make a point, which could be the case, is the fact that if they turn around and said if the shipper turns around and says the driver is like an hour away, so we're going to have to charge you for getting the driver there and then for driving, so that the shipper might turn around to the customer and say, well, it's going to cost this much because it's going to, say I'm in Norwich and I've got to send a van in and it's going to be an hour to send a van, and they go, fair enough. And then 2 minutes later, the geezer rings the doorbell and goes, I'm here. Then the customer's going to go, hold on. You're charging me an hour to send the van here, and the van's sitting here already. What's going on? That's the only thing I can think of. But normally, picking up early is a wonderful thing. I pick up early. I've had jobs before where I've booked them at like 9 o'clock in the morning. I've turned up at 7 on the off chance, got it off and got it off by 9, got it on and got it off by 9 o'clock in the morning, which is great because you got one about before you started. So there we go. James Rowan, is there a CX for car transporters? Not that I know of. Oh, that reminds me of something I had to do. Yeah, is there a CX for car transporters? No, not that I know of, but car transporter jobs do come up. So there we go. Hold on a second. Yeah, that was it. Sorry, James. He asked me the questions last week and I missed these questions. I meant to do these at the beginning of the video and I forgot. Good enough. So yes, is there a CX for car transporters? No, car transporting jobs do come up very rarely. Maybe 1 in 100. So they do come up, but not really. And he said, should bigger companies be capped to 5 vans? Well, that's not the way they work. Because like I say, they've got the Enterprise Plus thing, which means if you are a courier firm with a fleet, the CX is a very good platform for controlling your vans, because you can see where they are, how far away they are from pickup. The customer rings up, you can tell them, you can track when they're picked up, when they've loaded, when they've unloaded. And this is not just jobs that you buy off the CX. If you get your own jobs, you can put them across to your drivers and you can track them all the way. It's designed, if you want to be one man with a van, it works. If you want to be an office block with 500 vans, it also can still, well, 50 vans at least, it can still work. So they're not geared up that way. They're geared up for the one-man band. They're also geared up for the firm, which is kind of what we're in the process of doing right now, still working at it. Adrian Volunteeri, something like that, sorry, terrible. Any tips for companies outside the UK? I don't know. I keep saying this, I've only been doing it about 18 months myself. I haven't even been outside the UK. I've been to Scotland, I've been to Wales, I've never been to Ireland. I haven't even got a ferry yet. So, nearly got the Woolwich ferry once, but then Dave, the taxi driver, said, no, you're better off going through the Blackwall Tunnel. Take ages to get on the Woolwich ferry. So, no, sorry, mate. If anyone else is out there who obviously knows far more than me, has got any advice for people outside the UK, please stick it in the comments. I'll gladly pass it on. MB, how much should you charge per mile for 7.5 tonne? Normally around 240 a mile. 240, 250 a mile, which is kind of nice. The bigger the vehicle, the more you can get. And if I still had my operator's license, I'd probably be driving a 7.5 tonne right now. I liked my truck. It was fun. And people stopped and gave way to you, and you're higher up and you could see the road ahead, and it wasn't that much more difficult than it is driving a Luton van. You're shrinking really quickly. But yeah, I would say around about 240 a mile is about, again, you might want to go cheaper if you're going home, you might want to go cheaper if you're near the job, you might get a bit dearer if it happens you'd be the right man, right place. But I'd say ballpark figure around about 240 a mile, I think. Yorkshireman's Daily Grind. Yeah, he said about the overloading thing. Because you can be, and my mate Ken, he said to me about this before as well. I've got to ring him, I haven't spoken to him for ages. You can be inside your laden weight, but still overloaded, because you've got a weight per axle. So say, for example, your van can carry 3.5 tonne loaded. And say, for example, your van weighs 2.5 tonne. So you can put a tonne on your van. But if that pallet is a tonne, and you put it right to the bulkhead, you can still be over. Because it's more like, it might be 3.5 tonne, but when they put you on 2.5 tonne on the back axle and 1 tonne on the front axle. So if you put the pallet right at the front, you're over your front axle weight. The problem is also with this, if you put the pallet at the front, it can't slide. So if there's an accident, if I was to pull you over, there's an accident, why is pallet at the front? Because if someone hits me up the arse, it's kind of, you can secure it to the front easier. So really what you need to do is you need to put it over the back axle, but you need to strap it in. That's 3 straps over the back. That way, if someone slams into the back of you, the pallet's not going to slide right away front and through it to kill you. If you crash into the back of someone else, it's not going to ping out the back and land on someone else. But you've got to be wise about it. I tend to put my pallets right to the front for that reason, for safety. If they're raving heavy, I leave them on the back because it's easy to get off, on and off with a fork truck. Just make sure you get a load of straps on it so it can't move. What else we got? John Ramsey, what to write on paper PIDs? You want 5 things. You want the date, you want where it's coming from, the address it's coming from and the postcode, the address it's going to and the postcode, a brief description of what it is, 1 pallet, 4 boxes, a roll of carpet, and you need, most importantly, the name and the signature of the person that's received it. And then you scan that PID onto the system, get the digital signature, and then send that PID in the post. I used to print mine off as hard copies. We don't do that anymore, because if you've got the scan on the system, if someone says I haven't received the PID, you can print the scan off. It's the same as scanning. It's the same as photocopying all the PIDs. A scan is like, as long as it's on the computer, as long as the computer don't crash, it's the same thing. Saves a load of paper. It's good for the environment. I'm a big fan of this. Chris Packham and David Attenborough. I've got rid of my plastic bottles and got one in Britain's water jugs. Got a laugh, haven't we, for the kids. What else we got? Nearly over, guys. Martin Bates. Oh yeah, what to do if a customer cease trading? Hope that he doesn't owe you that much money. If they go down, sometimes you get something through the post that will say they've ceased trading, and you can put in a petition for your dough, but you can guarantee, there's going to be people in the front of the line for you. The HMRC is going to be in front of you. The tax man, the VAT man is going to be in front of you. And if there's anything left by the time, that you might get some money through the post. But I dare say, for the amount of money that they owe you, for the amount of effort you're going to have to put in to chase it, and the percentage you're going to get at the end, don't put all your eggs in one basket, in short. Or if you put all your eggs in one basket, watch that basket. Sorry, mate. I hope I didn't owe you too much time. Craig Bonza. Yeah, this is kind of it. He agrees with me. He said, take time out. No, it's not all about chasing jobs. Sometimes you can actually go, do you know what? That's a lovely view. When I come back, well, I had to pick them jumpers up. I come back from Worthing, and there's a little road. I don't know where it is. Some of you guys might have done it. And it connects Worthing when you're heading back towards the 25. And it's this most beautiful view, and it's covered in green fields. And there's this tiny little castle, which is a house. Tiny, it's like a turret. And a bit next door, and it's just surrounded by, and you get no mobile signal there whatsoever, and it's the most beautiful view. And sometimes I think, oh, it's wonderful, as you drive back thinking, well, let's get back, go get these jumpers off, you know, sort of. Hey Barton, I said about going to Liverpool. He said he was delivering to the Albert Dock. Delivered the Albert Dock, had a nice night in Liverpool. That's the one I want to do. That one, you know, like the Mersey and the Liver building and all that. I was watching the Liver birds as a kid. Was it Never Hughes, wasn't it? She's come up twice in videos lately. But it was, oh, it's iconic. And I've never done it. I mean, London, I'm all over London. I was doing the Norwich, I'm everywhere. Odgie's Cat, Stompy the Tank, I know where they are, but never done the Liver building. You know, I've done the Forth Bridge when we went to Edinburgh, and, you know, Brighton Pavilion. You know, there's some lovely places out there to see, but I've never done the Liver building. So one day. Yeah, as RK says, joining the CX is like a pay tour of the country. So you get to drive all the way around and sitting there thinking, this is where I want to retire. At the moment, Hove is looking good. It's kind of like London by the sea, isn't it? And it's very, very cosmopolitan place, full of very strange people in unusual clothes and hats. I think I'd fit right in. That's it. It's only Q&A. I hope you're all well. It's getting colder. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. So make the most of it. They're all going to be wanting their presents out and delivered, and we're the guys to do it. And in the process of doing it, take care, take money.